everyone, so this video is going to be about grad school, specifically for people going for their masters, but I'm going to try to make this for doctoral candidates as well. So last December in 2018, I graduated with my MS in Sustainable Management. I went to the University of Wisconsin, Green Bay. I remember getting accepted on the first try to my first choice, and I remember that was one of the best feelings ever. Like, I had this plan to go to UW Green Bay and get a master's, and it just worked out. You know, I spent months researching my campus options, my program options. Do I want to do it online or in person? I'm gonna have to move if I do in person. So it was really involved. I had to create financial models to see if I'm gonna be able to fund it. No loans, any of that, you know, just wondering if this was going to be able to work. So I've been through that planning process, and if you are too, I want to help you out here. You can take this video with a grain of salt because I'm in a different path of life, as you may be. Some of you are going to have more involved, more expensive programs, some may not. But a lot of this advice is going to be pretty general. You know, the same things I had to do, you're going to have to do as well. So with this video, I'll guide you through what that process was like for me, as well as what grad school was like for me in general. Now first, you'll probably be thinking about where to go. This is going to open up a lot more questions. Like, does it have the program that you want? Is this program going to be applicable to your career goals? The thing about master's programs is that they are way more specific than undergrad programs. You know, it's basically like specializing in something. For example, myself, I'm in the environmental field, and you know, you can go so many different ways with that. You can go to public health and safety, you can go into engineering, you can go into the sciences. Now, at times, that's the same for your undergraduate degree. You can minor in something, but this is, of course, just one program. It is the specialization on many occasions. So you're going to want to find out, when you're looking for schools, does this school have the program that you want? And is it going to help you with your career goals? What people get master's degrees for is usually to advance their careers. You may have people who are right out of undergrad, like myself, who went straight to a master's. You may have people who are a lot older, looking for, you know, either a raise, a promotion, something like that, to make themselves a little bit more marketable, to specialize in something. So what I did was, usually a lot of these colleges will have the course list available for that program. So I was going through colleges looking at environmental science masters, a master's in public policy, and I was thinking, you know, this one's not relevant, this one's not relevant, not really what I'm into. So it's basically like a menu, so you could see what that program's going to be teaching you. Now, going off that, make sure that your school and the specific program are accredited. Make sure they have a good reputation. I'm not saying that you have to go out and overpay just to basically pay for the school's name, but make sure that it's not something like the University of Phoenix or like DeVry University or any of these like private colleges that you see commercials for that say, oh, you can get a master's in 18 months for low price or something like that. I actually had to defend this a lot, explaining to people that I got a master's online. Like, hey guys, this isn't like a fake college, it's the University of Wisconsin, it's a public institution. The only difference is I wasn't in class physically. I did the same amount of work, I got the same amount of knowledge. Now that we talked about the where, and I already mentioned this a bit, let's talk about where. Like, where are you going to do this? Do you want to move away, or do you want to do online courses? I'm going to make a whole separate video about going to grad school online. It's going to follow this one, so you can jump right to it. But it is a big decision. You're going to have to move out for 2 years. Just like undergrad, if you moved away for it, that's not going to be a problem. And you're going to have to be, you know, going out, flying out to these places to see if it's somewhere you'd like to live. Another cool thing that schools are doing is they have hybrid courses. So you may be on campus like a very rare amount of the time, or you may have to go later in the degree. I'm not totally sure how that works, but it's definitely less than a traditional all-in-class or all-online program. It's like mixed together. Whatever you do, it's gonna be a master's program. Online is not easier. The only way that it is easier is that you don't have to drive to campus every day and sit in class. The trade-off of that is You have to really self-discipline yourself and drive yourself to do this work on your own, and you have to teach yourself, essentially. Even though there are lectures, there's not this one-on-one feedback thing going on that you have with a professor in class. You have to kind of teach yourself, so keep that in mind. Now, fourth thing on the list is money situations. This could be very stressful. You know, you found a great school, you know where to go, it has your program, it's accredited, how are you going to pay for it? I was fortunate enough to fund my master's entirely on my own on a part-time job. That's not true for everybody, especially people who had way more bills than me at the time, who may have children, who may have a house. And that's part of the reason I decided to do this right out of college, while I was still living at home and all that. I still paid a fair amount of bills and all that, but I was able to fund this. Depending on your program and the school that you choose, the expenses are going to vary. Mine was not the cheapest, but definitely not the most expensive. But you know, it is difficult to do this right out of undergrad when you still have student loans from undergrad. So that's also something to think about. So when you are managing your finances and all that, there are many tools available online or physically for you to do this. You essentially just need to have a good idea of your monthly expenses and your monthly income. That's pretty much it. I did it on Google Sheets, and it shows me these trends, which were more or less spot on. I threw a wrench in it when I moved to Seattle, and that really messed with everything. But other than that, it was pretty spot on. I was toward the end of the degree anyway, it doesn't matter, I'm almost done. But planning cannot be overstated. You know, you don't want to go broke, you don't want to be in debt, even more in debt. If it looks like you're going to hit a struggle, all hope is not lost. There are plenty of grad school scholarships out there, either from your school or outside of your school. Outside of your school, it might be a little bit more rare. All of the scholarships I've gotten were within the program. I'm guessing the program had all this money or something like that, and they had scholarships all the time, so I got all those. It really is going to take some sacrifice. You're going to be working more, you're going to be spending less time with your friends and family, waking up early, staying late, and that could be even before you start. It's easy for your social life to trend downward, and the key here would be try to not let it do that, especially before you even start, and especially when you start as well. It could be really difficult to balance, but you really have to have a good idea of why you're in this. It's a big commitment of time and money. So, keep that in mind. Remember why you're there. And let's dive into that point a bit more. Work, life, and school balance. This isn't like undergrad where a lot of people have a part-time job and, you know, they have a lot of friends at school on campus. You can hang out with people after classes. The work here is going to be more intense, first of all. At this point, you'll likely be working full-time when you're in your master's. Maybe not. While all your friends are, like, starting careers and all that, they just have that. They're not going to school again. They have their own work commitments, they're starting families and all that, so it could be easy to lose touch. And to further that point, you may be meeting in a master's class once a week, and the social ties may not be as strong as undergrad. You know, people aren't really living in the dorms and stuff, you don't really go to events on campus. It could all take a toll on your family and relationships in some way, but you're gonna have to mitigate that. It's something that people have to understand. And, you know, there are a lot of people in this country who don't value a college education as much, so you're going to have to deal with people being like, oh, the first time didn't work out, you're going to college again? Like, it's kind of annoying. There really is a stigma attached to grad students in that way. You know, it can come off as, you're going to school again, you don't have your life figured out, like, what do you want to do? You can't spend your life in school. You know, those voices in your head and sometimes outside of your head. People who work in psychology or social work, you pretty much have to get a master's degree to have, you know, substantial work in your field. If you're a teacher or a nurse, or really in any other field, a master's can help further your career, help you out with a promotion, with a pay raise, something like that, basically make you more marketable. As long as you know why you're doing this, as long as you've done the cost-benefit analyses, you should have no problem getting into a master's program and succeeding. No one should be able to stop you from doing that. Overall, do not fall into the pit of despair with all the stress that can come from every which direction. Try and make time for your social life. Do not isolate yourself. It's not sustainable to spend 2 years just doing work. It's also not sustainable to develop any bad habits like drinking or smoking habitually, not socially, but when it's a habit. Alright, so number 6, final point. You are now accepted. You have to plan on moving or staying at home. You can finance the degree. You have a pretty firm handle on what to expect out of the program and how you're going to handle your social life. It sounds like you're ready, but there are a few more tips that we can embellish on. First, stay organized. Buy a planner. I haven't brought a planner in my life until I started grad school. It really is a nice habit to get into of writing down assignments and things you have to do, like either in your professional life or social life. Just manage everything. It's such a good idea to stay on task. You can even make one online if that's what you prefer. A lot of mediums are available for that. If you're the type of person who gets a satisfaction from checking off things off of a list, that could be for you. My grad school program was pretty cool because our online class portal had checklists on the side, and seeing a green check mark after you cross off assignments was pretty cool. Next, stay disciplined in multiple areas of your life. As far as sleep goes, you're going to have to step out of your comfort zone, wake up early, stay up late, it just happens, while still getting a solid amount of sleep. That's the trick, isn't it? This is way easier said than done, if not impossible. You may have been able to scrape by in undergrad, pulling all-nighters and stuff like that, but if you do happen to be working full-time, and you do want to have a healthy family and social life, then it's something that's going to throw a wrench into your plans there, and it's something you got to learn to mitigate. You're going to be taking on a lot more work, in general, while having a lot more on your plate in life. So, there's that. Manage your time and place. What this really comes down to is time management, but also setting aside a place in your house or somewhere you can go to escape and do work. Somewhere where you won't be bothered and that really gets you focused. I can't really do good work, like either in this living room right here or in the bedroom there. It doesn't work. There's so many other distractions. So I have another room in this house. I put up a desk, set up a light, got my textbook out there. It really works wonders. Have that special place. Finally, said it before, I'm going to say it again, remember why you're here. Nobody puts themselves through all of this for no reason. You do have a reason to be interested in grad school. You have a reason to have started and gone that far. You have a reason to keep going. This isn't something that you just kind of mess around with and do if you have no career goals. You have to have a lot of things pretty set in your mind, so stay focused on that. It'll keep you motivated to remember the end goal. Keep your eyes on the prize. I hate rhyming. I was going to say something else, but we'll leave that. I do hope that this helped you in your decision-making process. It's really important, and it's something cool to do to pursue a graduate degree. Down in the comments below, you can let me know what your plans are if you're being accepted, and best of luck in your educational and career goals. Thank you for watching. Remember to subscribe below. Have a great rest of your day.